Welcome to Go Play Esports Podcast with Christopher Turner, Go Play founder and CEO, esports coach at the Southern University Lab, and gamer. Discussions on the emergence of esports at the K-12, collegiate, and professional level. Let's go! Let's go play.
Hi, this is your host once again, Christopher Turner on Go Play Esports Podcast. Today we're hitting you with a special live show. Like I said before, we all are in the house due to the coronavirus, and I'm meeting special people online. This one has been a long time coming. We both have been having some busy schedules, but without any further ado, let me introduce the guest. If you follow me on Twitter, you already know who it is. This guy goes by the name of Dr. JoJo AKA JoJo. He's a former collegiate basketball player at Cincinnati Christian University. He's originally from Indiana. He interned for Pacers Gaming in Season 1 of the NBA 2K League. JoJo was picked up by the t-wolvesgaming in the third round in 2019 2K draft, and he's actually the defending 2K League champion right now. Let's introduce JoJo of t-wolvesgaming to the show. What's going on, JoJo?
Hey, Christopher. Hey, I've never had an introduction like that. We like that.
You like that? You like that, man? Take me on the road. I introduce y'all in the studio every time.
Yeah, we like that a lot. I need that introduction every day. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Man, thank you for coming on, man. I know you have a busy schedule today, and we'll get to what's happening later on in the show. But I know I did that brief introduction, man. Tell everybody a little bit more about who JoJo is as a person, man, that, that led you up to being, JoJo today.
So, basically, just I'm from Indiana, kind of more of a country guy. Basketball was everything to me growing up. I got a twin brother and an older brother who older brother played professionally overseas. Dad coached. Twin brother played college ball as well. So just basketball through and through, from Indiana, Hoosier State. So basketball was a lot in my life. And then family, friends, just holding on to those values, those beliefs. Man of faith, believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and I believe just sticking to my values, sticking to who I was. It was definitely, if I want to get into it, our journey to get to the 2K League and all that, but it was a great journey, great story of perseverance and trials, not making the league Season 1, and then eventually making it Season 2, and then going on that crazy run to win the championship. So that's a little bit about me.
Man, that's wonderful, man, and I'm a believer as well, man. I haven't had anybody to boldly say that they're a believer on the show yet, man, and I appreciate that aspect coming from a personal standpoint, man, and knowing, everything was a blessing. It wasn't just given, you had trials and tribulations, but you were able to persevere with Jesus being in the mix, man. So that's major, man, to say that right off, man. So
absolutely.
Can you tell the listening audience, I know you were a player. I did my research, JoJo. I know you hurt your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
What was that transition from having that disappointment of hurting your shoulder and transitioning over to the game? Was the game already there for you, as far as off season, or did you go into the game after you got hurt?
Yeah. So when I first started playing gaming, it was 2K16, hardcore, when I got into the online mode, which part was the main thing I played in 16. My buddy, it was our senior year, summer of our senior year, and he got me hooked on 2K. I guess it was after. We had just graduated, so that transition when I was about to go to college. And I honestly didn't want to go to college and play ball. I was kind of done with it. I knew my shoulder was kind of messed up, and then I knew I had to get surgery. But my dad was like, just go stick it out, redshirt your first year, and see if you like it, and then you can go from there. And I got a pretty good scholarship even from being a redshirt, so it made sense to go. Ended up going, and like you said, had shoulder surgery. And it's interesting because that was when Bear kind of picked up 2K when he had an injury. I know Lavish picked up 2K when he had the injury. There's a lot of guys in the league that ended up playing 2K heavily because of injuries when they played real basketball. So when I had that injury, I was stuck at home, and you can ask my roommates. I would get on 2K and I would play. All day, all night. I would play all night. I'd have class from 8 to 11, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I would go from 8 to 11, and then come right back, sit back in my chair, and play the rest of the day. And I don't know. It was a way to play basketball, but I couldn't play basketball. And I fell in love with it. It was a lot of fun. I realized I was pretty good at it, and that makes everything a lot more fun if you're good at it. So that's kind of how I transitioned from shoulder surgery and then into 2K.
That's crazy, man, because, like my personal story, I got hurt, right before my senior year in high school. I'm more of a football build guy, but in my mind, I'm a basketball player, right?
Isn't that funny how it works? All basketball players want to be football players, all football players want to be basketball players.
It's crazy, man. So, and you mentioned not making that combine that first year and going over the intern for the Pacers, man. Like, what was that experience like, and how did it prepare you for like that following year to kind of try to get back rolling and take another shot at going to the league?
That was tough. So when I left, I ended up leaving college to try to make the league. There was a few things going on at the school. I won't get into them, but things I didn't really like. Some bullying going on at the school. Just didn't have a good experience. Ended up going home, which was really tough. Having to tell your parents you're leaving school to chase a dream playing 2K was kind of tough. They supported me, but were kind of unsure of, like, is there actually something you can do? So then ended up didn't make it. So that was a tough time in my life where I felt, to be completely vulnerable, I felt, depressed, discouraged, like I wasn't good enough, like a failure. But ended up, thankfully, Cody Parent, awesome dude at Pacers game, the head coach there, director of esports. I'd sent him a DM, and we stayed in contact, ended up getting the internship with him, and just having that something to do every day, something I can go learn, and just being around something that was what I wanted to do, and I knew that was my goal. I wanted to make it into the 2K League and to just get my foot in the door and just see the process, see what the guys did, see how Wolf played, see how Swizzer played, was everything to me. So that was huge, great learning experience. I highly recommend people that are trying to make the league to do something similar, to give you just a perspective of how it runs, what you need to do to prepare yourself to make it into the league.
That's amazing, man, to make that decision and come on board. And I know you're saying that your parents wasn't 100% on board. What did your brothers think? Because I know, like, listening to your family is very important. Did they get it right away?
That's huge. Wow, that is the key thing that I'm glad you touched on. So my brother, my older brother, shout out Caleb, he pushed me so much, and Noah did too, my twin brother. But Caleb was always, he said, man, just chase your dreams, go after it. If this is what you want to do, just keep going for it. You're going to make it eventually. And I remember, I can count back the countless texts that he sent me, phone calls. It meant the world to me, and he had my back 100%. It's something about that brother love that you can't, like, he'll stick with you through anything. And it means a lot to me. So yeah, they definitely had full support. I remember, so this is an interesting story. We played a combine game in season 2, the year I did make it, and it seemed like everything that could go right went right that year. And I made it into an overtime game, and I had like 5 buddies over that night for whatever reason. I think it was a Pacers game, and they all came over to watch the game. And I was just sitting in my corner playing the combine. And they kept looking over, and it was a close score, and then they saw it go overtime. So then they all huddled around, and I'm down by 2 with 3 seconds left. I had my sharp takeover, and they ended up throwing the ball to me, and I hit a game winner. And we have the clip, and you just hear this crazy roar in the background. And it was one of those moments kind of where I was like, I felt like I'm destined to make it to the league. Like, everything's going right. And it was just, and then Caleb was there too, and he was going nuts, just going wild. So the brothers were just amazing support for me throughout the whole journey, and still are.
So taking that same energy, JoJo, like, what was it like? Who did you take to like draft night, and like who was there like to support you through that whole trip, man? Because I know sitting in that room, I just talked to Ye yesterday, by the way, and he said that that room is so cold and you get hungry, and you know, like, what was your experience like being in that draft seat?
Yeah. So I stayed at home for the draft, and man, it was insane. So people just kept coming. I told my parents, I said I wanted to be low key. I don't want many people there, because I wasn't sure if I was going to make it, and I didn't want a lot of disappointment. And man, I had former Sunday school teachers walk in, former coaches come in, like they told the whole world, and they kept funneling in. We had I want to say 50, 60 people there. It was crazy. When they heard, it was like half people in my mom's and dad's bedroom, and then half were in the living room. And it was like, on Twitch, sometimes there's a little bit of delay. So my TV was a little bit delayed. So when the T-Wolves came up, I hear this enormous roar in the bedroom, and I'm like, oh. So then 3 seconds later, I hear my name on my television. Then they all start storming in the room, jumping on me, going crazy. So, there was a lot of people there. It was a lot of fun. It was definitely one of the greatest moments in my life. I look back on that a lot.
Man, that's insane, man, just to have that love in the building, man, even though you weren't there. You had support, man.
Oh, yeah, it's everything.
Support.
It's everything.
Yeah, it's everything.
That support, it's crazy. It means everything.
Man. So what, let me backtrack and go into a little foundation, man. How did you come up with the name Dr. JoJo?
Yeah. Excuse me. So my buddy, Gilmer, AG, he was on PS4 for a long time, and he was on me and my twin brother. He was like, you guys got to get a PlayStation. You got to get a PlayStation. We can run the park up. It'll be super fun. So I ended up finally getting a PlayStation in 2K16. I think it's the best 2K by far. Just side note.
That was going to be one of my questions, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah, 2K16, man. It's so much. Maybe it was because of my first game. I don't know. But so we were sitting up there. I remember where we were. We were upstairs in my old house in the loft. We were setting it up, and we were like, man, what is my gamer tag going to be? And, you want it to be perfect, and thinking about it, and I was like, Doctor, what about Dr. J? And at the time, I had no idea, who Dr. Lupo was. I had no idea who Dr. Dishes was. I was so far. I never watched esports. All I did was play real basketball. I was always outside playing ball. So ended up, I was like, Doctor, I like that. That's cool. So I ended up going with Dr. JoJo. Some people had called me JoJo before. I had a coach that called me JoJo, and I was like, okay, I kind of like it. We'll stick with that. So that's where it came from. It was kind of simple, just JoJo, and put a doctor in front of it. We'll call it good.
Man, that's amazing, man. And knowing your background now, man, and knowing that you came from a real sport, what was that transition for you like when you finally, your name was called, you're going to the T-Wolves. Walk us through that whole flying out field, getting to the apartment or the gaming house, and meeting players and staff for the first time, man.
Yeah, so it was definitely different. It's usually when you go to a new team, you're on the court, you're running around, you're sweating, you're doing all that sort of stuff, and it's a weird transition going in, then you go into a gaming place. But the whole transition, it was pretty smooth. I was a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie. It was new to me. Never been that far away from home for that long time. A lot of these guys in the league are pretty young. I think I was 21 when I last year made it, so, and not super old. But it was just a lot of anticipation, ready to try out this new thing. Being a part of an NBA organization in itself is, a dream for me. So excited, a little nervous, just all the emotions you can think of. But then once we got here, had a team meeting, team dinner, and met the guys. And once I met the guys, I was like, this is going to be a fun season. We had Bear and Feast and Christopher turn up, and we had Hood. Hood was a little shaky, but and JB and Coach Billman, just great people, great organization, a lot of fun. And obviously you saw what happened last year, championship.